the writing gives you vivid and clear cut imaginative picture. And he has lots of subjects, and whatever subject he presented, that you will find suitable to the subjects. Now look at the another slide. He also gave some characters and presented some landscape. Because of a graphic, vivid and clear pictures, all these things become alive. Automatically the reader is led to read. The picture comes before his eyes. That is a grand quality that is found into this practitioner Carlyle. His writing is very very neat and clean, and you will find him that he is a jeweler. He is a skilled jeweler. Basically whatever he writes, he makes it very very clear. He becomes very conscious while he presents, and as a result his prose is very very epigrammatic, and it is very very easy to remember whatever he wants to say. So that is a especially way presented through preparing and placing some of the phrasings. And when we read his writing, it becomes epigrammatic, racy, and phrases, they are catchy. And that is how we always find Carlyle. You will see some examples what sort of writing he will do it. I quote here: Bacon sees, Shakespeare sees through. Look the word, sees and sees through. A very short, small sentences, epigrammatic, and that gives how he writes. Another example: Coleridge is a steam engine of 100 horsepower with the boiler burst. The first part of the sentence gives you one idea, and the later part of the sentence gives you another idea. But what he wants to convey, that becomes very very clear. And that is how, through his Victorian prose, you will see that he is very calm, persuasive, and yet he is humorous. Very few writers in Victorian era, especially in prose writing, is doing this, and that is a humorous way of presenting the writing. He is having romantic style, and so he is very imaginative, and his writing is so much imaginative that people called him that he is like a poet, or you can call a poet in prose. And his writing is presented in some of the books. They are Sartre Resartus, French Revolution, Heroes and Hero Worship, Past and Present, and other important writings. They are Oliver Cromwell's Letters and Speeches, Life of John Sterling, History of Frederick the Great, and others. So basically, you know that Carlyle is known for his past and present and heroes worship. Even Oliver Cromwell's Letters and Speeches also became very very popular book. Now we go to another leading writer, and that is John Ruskin. You see his photo, even that shows what a genius man he is. He was born in 1819 and died in 1900. He represents romantic prose, and in which you will find that he has very much a luxuriant imagination, as if you are passing through a jungle. And because of a variety in imagination, you will also find variety in subject matter also. He has presented various subjects, and especially subjects like art, social life, politics, etc. are the main subjects. He also writes about education as well as literary criticism too. His main works, you will say that Seven Lamps of Architecture. Now, seven lamps, actually they are not the lamps, but lamps always stand for knowledge, and here you will see that lamps are represented by symbolic lamps. First lamp is sacrifice, second is truth, third is power, fourth is beauty, fifth is life, sixth is memory, and the last, seventh, obedience. So the book is very uh, classical way and presenting his view. Another book is very important, that is Stones of Venice. Actually, he wanted to criticize the Renaissance architecture, and he wanted to show what sort of architecture should be. As a result, he gave some of the specimens. They are found into the Stones of Venice. Another book is Modern Painters. It is a very bulky book. Actually, he worked hard over it, and we have 5 volumes beginning from 1843 and the last volume coming out in 1860. So in these work he is found as a great critic of art. Another book that is very important, as Indian also we see that this book has changed Gandhi's life, and our independence is actually very much indebted to that book, that is Unto This Last. The book deals with 4 essays that you will see in the style. Let us see this slide. First essay is The Roots of Honor. Second is The Vein of Wealth. Third is Qui Judicatis Terram. And the last essay is Ad Valorem. Now Ruskin deals with some of the social problems of the period, and that is the related labors and labor and employee relationship. Here you will find that the issues of wages, employer and labor relationship, importance to human being and not to the product. He is because of this presentation known as a social reformer, and this book gives you lots of practical suggestions. Gandhi was very much influenced by this, and the book is also translated in Gujarati, that is Sarvodaya. Many of the principles of Gandhi came through this book, and that is how what Ruskin is writing in that period, that could be seen in the book. Let us see the other slide, friends, on the screen. His style, whatever the book you pick up, you will see that he is having graphic pictures, and especially in Stones of Venice, if we read the description of nature, it becomes very alive. And according to need, he uses the prose. He has lots of variety to present his prose. For example, he makes arguments wherever it is necessary. He is also giving pictorial descriptions. He is having lots of imagery. Because he is a romantic prose writer, the quality of a poet will come. So lyricism is also found, and his style of writing is very much skillful. He tries to take the prose to the height that is like a classical prose writer. So we have grandeur and lofty writing. If you see that he has also another quality in writing, he writes long sentences, and which will be running into many lines, and that line is divided, or we have lots of punctuation marks, especially semicolons and commas. So a paragraph, if it is given to you, you will automatically come to know that this must be Ruskin's writing. And you also will find that because of this quality, sometimes it becomes clumsy. We also have lots of drawbacks in many writers. For example, they become rugged, personal mood also comes into existence. But anyhow, Ruskin is trying his best to keep himself away and present at its best. See this slide, friends. Now, after Ruskin, we have another very important writer, that is Thomas Macaulay, who was born in 1800 and died in 1859. As Indians, we must have heard his name. Today, whatever English, the condition of Indian English we have, or whatever we have started learning English, that is due to this man, Thomas Babington Macaulay. Actually, he is known for his speeches rather than his work, and especially the speeches he gave for pressing the reform bill into English Parliament, he became very popular. And uh, because of his speech, you will see one particular style has come into existence, and that is speaker style. So the writing that has the effect of a speech rather than the literary artist, because writing in for essay or biography or historical presentation, that is different, and writing not actually is done for writing, but writing done for giving speeches. So Macaulay is known for speeches, and that's where his prose would be seen. Let us see this slide, friends. He is a brilliant speaker, and he is a main works you will find especially two books. First work is related to Milton. We have essays. The name of the book is Essays of Milton, and another book is History of England. Now his prose writing, you will see that deals with two subjects. First is literary or critical writing, you can say, and another subject, that is we have for example essays on Milton, Edison, Goldsmith, Dryden. This is the particularly writers on which he has written. We also have other writers, for example Leigh Hunt, Bacon, Bunyan, Boswell, as well as Dr. Johnson and Byron. But this is not the complete list that I wanted to provide you. In the book there are many other writers he has discussed. So these writers give the idea that his purpose is to give the literary judgment or write about them, and that is how these essays are related to literature. So this is one subject. On the other side, let us look at the another slide, friends. The subject is related to historical figures. He wanted to present some of the political and figures, or the figures who were very well known of the time, and you will find that there is a long list. Lord Clive, and most of the people, because of their coming to India, or anyhow whatever relationship they had with us, we come to know about them. That is Lord Clive, Chatham, Warren Hastings, Horace Walpole, William Pitt, Machiavelli, Frederick the Great. So these are the figures on which he has written. Now, because his idea is to present historical figures, naturally we have historical flavor in his writing, and as a result you cannot expect from him that he would write imagination. That's why he misses the imagination. Whether these essays are very interesting to read, they catch our attention because of some beautiful things found into it, and they give us what sort of writing he is presenting. You will see that his writing is breathless narrative, as if you read at a speed, at one glance you are tempted to read. Clear cut style, and there is a force of his arguments or whatever he wishes to convey, and because he is a speaker, basically he can convince you what he wants to say. So that is having convincing style. Now, how did this style come? That is a question to you. There are two things. On one side, he read a lot because he is having a very good background from the family. So unconscious efforts or unconscious things which came automatically into him. So this is one thing. And another thing, whatever he read, and he read much. So mixing of these two, his natural talent and imitating unconsciously the past master or whatever he learned. These are two things that came into him, and that gave him a unique place in prose writing. Look at this slide, friends. Because this is partly natural talent, you can say, and partly unconscious imitation of the other writers. He wants to give no philosophical reflection, because his view is not critical. He has historical view. He wants to present some of the figures, and as a result he often makes mistakes. For example, judgments we cannot take it absolutely true. Sometimes they are hasty or faulty facts or figures also come out. So we have to be very careful about especially when he presents some of the historical figures. But one thing is very clear, that his essays they are having a very good readable quality, and that is a great charm, and because of that we have to take his name. His style is conversational style, that is a day-to-day life in which we always see. We always make arguments, so he also talked much in parliament, so argumentative style. There is no problem of a speech for him. He is very much eloquence, and rhetoric style is also there. In his speech you will find always that because he convinces the people, he has striking phrases, and wherever it is necessary he presents suitable anecdotes. He puts contrast and balance both the things together, as well as comparisons and illustration also you will find over there. And that is how you will say that Macaulay is a public speaker rather than a literary one. Now we go to next writer, and that is Cardinal Newman, that is 1801 to 1890. Basically he was a religious writer, and he wrote into various forms, and that is tracts, sermons and theological essays. And his works we can see in some of the books, almost autobiographical work you will see, Apologia Pro Vita Su, that is a spiritual biography you can say. Another book is Via Media, then Grammar of Assent, The Idea of University, and Callista. These are the some of the books